So this is my review after finishing and reading both Strange Houses and Strange Buildings by Uketsu. And I have to say, these are probably some of the best, books that I think I've read personally, just from an entertainment standpoint. I looked into a lot of the reviews and the comments and of other people, and some people have said some people have been quite negative. So in this video, I'm going to break it down of sort of what I think are the strong points of the series, and what are the weak points, and I'll be analyzing the two of them sort of separately, but also together. So, firstly, let's talk about Strange Houses. So for Strange Houses, personally, what I thought about the book was this was the first, and it's the weaker one. So if if you're sort of hesitant and you're like, oh, I don't know if I like it, I would suggest you start off with Strange Buildings first, and that's because first of all, it's a much more rich narrative. So the story, and the sort of gimmick of the series is they're basically like, your standard sort of murder mystery kind of like, detective books. But instead of, instead of sort of regular clues, what there is there's lots of, there's, they'll give you, there's tons of, these like apartment layouts. And that's the sort of like beauty of these things is so like for example, like over here you see what happens in the book is there'll be layouts of houses, and then you're supposed to sort of deduct what's the significance. Sometimes it might be an extra room, sometimes it might be a oddly misplaced closet, but that's the main gimmick of the series. And so when starting off, for Strange Houses, Uketsu's first book, there are three houses. There are three house layouts, and the plot is a lot simpler. It's only about 200 pages, and it's about if you're a decent reader, and it'll be like an hour and a half maybe. You can finish this in an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, and then Strange Buildings, comparatively. So Strange Buildings has a lot more depth. It has about 11. It has 11, like floor plans, and it also has, it's about 380 pages. So you'll get about 3.5 hours out of this book. But they go very fast because I picked this up and I could not put it down because personally, what a lot of the plots play into is they play into superstition, and they play into like a lot of like they play into sort of the more wild side of murder mysteries. So um my suggestion, I think where lots of people might have gotten let down, was the fact that they went in with high hopes, and that of like a really grounded, sort of really real, like sort of murder mystery, and that's something this is not. That's something I'd like to clarify. So when you go into these books, don't treat them as like these like super, realistic murder mystery. Like go in with a sort of like feeling of just maybe not superstition, but just sort of, have doubt about, because sort of the main thing, and I'm not going to spoil it, although I might include spoilers afterwards, is the thing is about these books is that they follow extremely insane plots about these, murder houses. That's the thing about like that's the thing that sort of unites all the floor plans in these. Is in almost all of them, people have died somehow, and it's sort of up to you to find out and just to think about. Oh well, why, what part of the building design sort of shows this to be a murder house. So yeah, so these are but yeah, so strange buildings, and yeah.